Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Translation. O Vasu, I know from within your mind what you desired in the days of yore, when the Vasus and other demigods responsible for expanding the universal affairs performed sacrifices. You particularly desired to achieve my association. This is very difficult to obtain for others, but I awarded it unto you. Purport. Uddhava is one of the eternal associates of the Lord, and a plenary portion of Uddhava was one of the 8 Vasus in the days of yore. The 8 Vasus and the demigods in the upper planetary system who are responsible for the management of the universal affairs performed a sacrifice in the days of yore, desiring to fulfill their respective ultimate goals in life. At that time, an expansion of Uddhava, acting as one of the Vasus, desired to become an associate of the Lord. The Lord knew this because He is present in the heart of every living entity as Paramatma, the superconsciousness. In everyone's heart there is the representation of the superconsciousness who gives memory to the partial consciousness of every living entity. The living entity as partial consciousness forgets incidents of his past life, but the superconsciousness reminds him how to act in terms of his past cultivation of knowledge. Bhagavad-gita confirms this fact in various ways. Ye yata mang prapadyante tans tathaiva bhajamyaham sarvasya chaham haridi sannivishto mataha smritir jnana apohanam cha. Everyone is at liberty to desire as he likes, but the desire is fulfilled by the Supreme Lord. Everyone is independent to think or desire, but the fulfillment of one's desire depends on the Supreme Will. This law is expressed as man proposes, God disposes. In the days of yore, when the demigods and Vasus performed sacrifice, Uddhava, as one of the Vasus, desired to enter into the association of the Lord, which is very difficult for those busy in empiric philosophical speculation or fruitive activities. Such persons have practically no information of the facts about becoming an associate of the Lord. Only the pure devotees can know by the mercy of the Lord that the personal association of the Lord is the highest perfection of life. The Lord assured Uddhava that he would fulfill his desire. It appears that when the Lord informed him by his indication to Uddhava, the great sage Maitreya finally became aware of the importance of entering into the association of the Lord. The Lord is within everyone's heart. He knows our desires, and He responds accordingly. Therefore, we are in one sense the makers of our fate, and in another sense not. Often this question is asked, well, if God could remove all suffering, then why doesn't He? If God could give me $1 million immediately, why doesn't He? It's proof that there's no God. You see, if there's actually a God, He should have given me $1 million. So yes, Krishna knows our desire, and He responds accordingly. But it's not that He has to fulfill our desire exactly in the way that we demand, or that He has to fulfill our desire at all. He reciprocates, but He reciprocates with different people differently. He reciprocates with devotees and He reciprocates with non-devotees differently. He reciprocates with devotees in a manner that they can become more advanced, and He reciprocates with non-devotees in such a way that they can forget Him because they want. If you listen, it's fun taking photos maybe for you, but if you listen, it would be more beneficial for you. What is that verse? Yo yo yang yang tanang bhakta shadhayachatam itchati tasya achalang shadham tameva vidadhamyaham. Krishna says that those who want to forget me, those who want to approach different demigods, I make their faith very strong. He's the super soul, so he contributes to their mental strength by which they avoid Krishna. And although it's not explicitly stated in this verse of Bhagavad-gita, we see that this applies not only in demigod worship, but in all spheres. If someone has firm faith that, whatever it may be, I just believe in me, says John Lennon, Yoko and me, that is reality. So he believed that, and he was very firmly in that illusion. And then one day someone shot him out of that illusion. But because his basic conviction was to forget Krishna, therefore his being shot out of the body, which he believed was reality, only shot him into another illusion. Because he was firmly fixed in the conviction that I should forget Krishna. So those who have a desire to remember Krishna, Krishna will help them. What usually happens is that someone in this material world who has a desire to be Krishna conscious, then that's mixed up with desires not to be Krishna conscious. So Krishna helps those who want to be Krishna conscious by helping them to overcome the non-Krishna conscious desires. But we have to desire very strongly. It's just like someone may say, well, why there's God, why doesn't he give me $1 million immediately? He may give you if you desire, but you have to desire strongly enough. If you ask anybody on the street, would they like to have $1 million, I don't think you'll find anyone who'll say no. Or if they say no, they may say no just as a kind of show, because they know you're not going to give it to them anyway. But they may say no just to show how renounced and spiritual or whatever they are. Now, everyone wants, but not everyone gets it. How is that? Well, you have to desire it strongly enough. It's not that you just sit in a chair and then you lounge in your chair and think, well, I'd like $1 million. You have to do something also. You have to intensely desire it. You'll find that there are many instances in modern capitalistic society which has given the facility for people to come up from poverty to riches. Modern American society, maybe more so than at present, where there are multinational companies, but even in recent times, two of the most famous businessmen in the world, namely Bill Gates, who's probably the most famous businessman, and Steve Jobs, they both came up from nothing. They didn't have any money. This Steve Jobs, he's the one who was behind Apple and then Macintosh computers, if you don't know. And Bill Gates, you probably know, is Microsoft. So they came up from a position of having, this Steve Jobs started in a garage, just tinkering around with computers. So he came up to be very rich and famous and well known, although he got outdone by Bill Gates. But anyway, he's still a billionaire or whatever, at least a billionaire. And even in India you see this, what's his name, Ambani, that one who just died? Dhirubhai. So he also started with next to nothing. The Sindhis, they came from Pakistan, thrown out, with nothing but the clothes on their back. So he started with nothing, but he worked hard and he became rich. So you may say, well, there are so many people who are working hard and not everyone becomes rich. How is it? Well, you could say it's luck. But you'll find that those who become successful like this, they have a very strong desire to do so. There are levels of desire. Everyone's working hard and everyone wants to become rich, but those who are meditating on it day and night, how I can become rich, meditating, planning, just their whole consciousness is absorbed in how I have to become rich and make lots of money. So those are the ones who make it, because Krishna gives them intelligence how to do so. Where does the intelligence come? How? Just like this, whatever his name is, Ambani, does something. Dhirubhai. So, is it Parsi? No, he's Sindhi. Is it? Sindhi, no? But they were in Sindh previously. They're Gujaratis from Sindh. Alright, alright, okay. Sorry for my lack of information about this. So, what was I saying? That they were working hard, but with a very, very strong desire. Meditating, so Krishna gave them intelligence. They had intelligence. The ideas, you see, there may have been many people. Steve Jobs and Bill Gates came up just at the beginning of the computer revolution. And so there may have been many people who were fiddling around with computers and thinking how to make new operating systems and new hardware and how to get past now it's a joke, the 64K barrier. If you know anything about computers, which I slightly do. There was a time when programs were limited by the 64K RAM barrier. So that was broken, and now you have these huge gigabytes hard disks and all this kind of thing. Just in a little portable computer. Even that, there wasn't any thought. At the time when Steve Jobs and Bill Gates were starting, there was no concept, maybe at that time, of portable laptop computer. So, how were they able to develop this? Others were also fiddling around and trying to make business with computers. And the same thing with Dhirubhai Ambani. He had a business, he developed a business empire because he had good ideas which he implemented, business ideas at the right time. He just thought, so many ideas, what's the right one for the market right now? Okay, try this. And then it worked, and then you'll find that all his plans worked. How is it? By luck. It's by intelligence. That intelligence comes, Krishna gives it, because they have an intense, very, very strong desire to become successful. And it may not only be for money. It may not be that they're only interested in money. It's the prestige that goes with it, and the sense of achievement and success. Because actually money, anyway, what can you do? When you have so much money, what does it matter whether you have more and more? If you have a big mansion and this and that, what does it matter whether it really doesn't matter whether you have $5 billion or $10 million. It doesn't make any difference to the way you live your life. But why they want more and more money? It's a sense of achievement, and I've done more than others, and becoming famous, and they may also be considering we're contributing to human society. Often these very big businessmen, they think like that we've actually contributed. We're giving jobs, we're giving new products, we're giving opportunities. So they have they're able to succeed, whereas others don't. Just like it's very unfortunate actually for most people in the world who use computers that Bill Gates was successful, because actually this Windows operating system, it's just a pain in the neck. There are much better operating systems, but because his business, he was a better businessman, so he managed to squash all the competition except Steve Jobs, who is still around, but he's more or less squashed. This Macintosh is actually a much better operating system, and there are other operating systems which are better. But he got ahead with the business acumen and this and that. So how is it? Some people succeed and others don't. Well, you could say one factor is luck. But then one factor in luck is actually, when they say luck, that this scheme succeeded and this one didn't, and even just like this Windows system succeeded and the other operating systems are actually much better, they didn't succeed. But it's because Bill Gates was better in marketing and in business tactics of squashing others out of the market, and all kinds of dirty things which businessmen do, legal or illegal. So it's not just luck, but when we say it's because someone's very, very much meditating on how to succeed, how to get ahead, how to be successful. Krishna gives the intelligence how to do so. So this Srimad Bhagavatam class is not really a discussion of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and Dhirubhai Ambani and how businessmen succeed. But, well, in one sense it is, because how is everything going on in this material world? Everything is going on under the direction of the Supersoul. So, in this verse, the Lord is telling Uddhava how he succeeded. in becoming a great devotee. And that principle applies everywhere. Uddhava succeeded as a great devotee because he very strongly desired so. When it said that you desired, that doesn't mean that that Uddhava, his desire was just like some religious desire. He was a Vasu, and he was going on with his life, and sometimes he used to think, well, it'd be nice to be an associate of the Lord. What's for lunch today? And which dancing girl am I going to dance with next? Not like that. Desire means intense desire, very intense desire to become an associate of the Lord, and therefore the Lord reciprocated with him. And that intense desire means sustained intense desire. Even there may be so many tests. Just like all these big businessmen, they don't become big businessmen just that you say, well, it's just luck. But no, they went through. Every one of them had to struggle and go through so many difficulties. Your friend there in Baroda also, this Shivlal Goel, he's also started off not rich, but he came up. So, how is that? They have to face many tests. When you're first beginning in business, definitely people will cheat you. Because that's what business, you learn. Then you become cheated, and then you think, then you can go away. I'm finished with business. It's no good. I'll just become a coolie or something like that. Maybe they started as a coolie. It may be. They started as a coolie, and then they saved some money and then started some business like that. But they had the determination to overcome obstacles. And they learned by their mistakes. If someone cheated them, they learned, okay, now I have to be more careful in how I deal. But they didn't give up hope. They didn't think, well, everyone's a cheat. Because if you do business, you have to have some measure of trust in others. If you can't give goods on credit to anyone, then you can't do any business. So then some people will cheat, but they go on, they overcome obstacles. There may be the strike, the factory is closed, this, that, the other. People go against them in business. Someone will give them a bad name. Some of their trusted employee will take their product and make an imitation product and start a new factory and try to do him. So many things. It's a constant battle. It goes on all the time. But they have great confidence that I can achieve the goal. I will do it. I'll go on. And in this way, with a very, very strong desire. Strong desire doesn't mean that you just simply think. You simply sit, okay. Just like you find in these fairy stories, you wish, and it's immediately fulfilled. You have, the jinn comes in. What do you want? You have 3 wishes. Aladdin's magic lamp. I would like this. It doesn't happen like that. Man proposes and God disposes, but you have to work also. And that kind of wealth which is achieved very easily is usually lost very easily also. You don't find many people who win on the lottery if they win a big amount. Mostly if they're just frivolous people, within a short time they'll be back in the same position. They'll lose all the money. And of course in India you find people are often more conservative about money matters, but in the West, if they get some money, they'll invest in some property or something like that. But in the West, people get money, they just immediately spend it, finished, and they go back to where they were before. So something which is achieved with difficulty is valued, and actually you can't get anything valuable unless you take difficulty to get it. That is the law of this world. So sometimes very neophyte devotees, they ask that, well, why doesn't Krishna just allow us to be pure devotees? We chant, I want to be a devotee, so why doesn't Krishna just, allow it? And why all these bad thoughts in the mind and material attachments? Krishna wants to see what is our desire. We have to work, do our sadhana, do our bhajan, do our service, surrender. And then when Krishna sees that we're very serious, then he'll give us a gift far greater than anything that Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or any of these great business tycoons could achieve. They can't, it's so great they can't even appreciate it. It's beyond their scope of appreciation. So, this is the answer. We have to have desire, but that desire, that also, as I was saying, has to be sustained and very strong. And that desire, it's like I said, it's not just you sit and you think one time, oh, I'd like to be a pure devotee. But it's sustained, and that desire has to be increased and maintained despite all difficulties. Often we see devotees become discouraged that, oh, now, you see, I'm trying to be a devotee, I have all these wrong desires, and I'm not making much progress, and I feel just discouraged. But why be discouraged? That means actually we don't have a very strong desire to be Krishna conscious. If we think that Krishna conscious is just such a thing that I'll just desire a little bit, and if I don't get it, well, give up. This is tamasic approach that you need to, then you just become discouraged. Oh, alright. Maybe I should just go off and commit suicide. It's just useless. Or just give up Krishna consciousness. This means a very defeatist attitude. Even without trying very much, you simply give up. But with a very strong faith in Krishna, one should go on knowing that I am useless, no doubt. But let me try to serve Krishna, and surely Krishna will help. If he can help people with no educational qualification and no money to become billionaires, and there are so many, Dale Carnegie and so many, I was giving those, then he can surely, if I have desire, help me to achieve his pure devotional service. But it's a much greater gift than amassing billions of dollars. So we can't expect that if to achieve such a futile thing as billions of dollars, you have to go through so many tests, you have to work hard, you have to concentrate your mind on it constantly, year after year. You may go through, you'll find many of these big rich people, it's not that they became rich overnight. They maybe went through many years of struggling and poverty, but they never gave up faith in the ideal that I should succeed and be a successful businessman. And you'll find many of these people who do that, they become philanthropists afterwards, actually. Just like Bill Gates is giving $1 billion, so I was told by Pastor Gosha should know, because he's in tune with all these things. He's giving $1 billion to India for combating AIDS. So, and they like to do they like to contribute back to society. Of course, this has got nothing to do with pure devotional service, helping society in a mundane way. But you can see that it's not simply out of greed, not gross greed, that they're amassing money. But because they want to do something which within their understanding is helpful to society. So it's a beginning stage it's actually a beginning stage of God consciousness. You'll find mentioned in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, altruistic works. We usually condemn that. But it's actually much better than just being a complete miser and keeping every penny for yourself. So in that altruistic spirit, we find that Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, they both gave some kind of, not very big, donation to our ISKCON also. Because Steve Jobs, when he was a young man with no money, he used to come and take prasad in our temple regularly. So he remembered and he appreciated that. So Krishna helps people to achieve. They have to go through so many difficult obstacles. And we should have faith that Krishna will surely help me also. I may go through many years of struggling with this rascal mind, but struggle. Don't stop struggling. Just like the tycoons who became big businessmen, they went on with the struggle, with the faith that, well, they didn't know they were going to become big tycoons, but they had the ambition, let me go on trying, let me go on trying, let me go on trying. There's no harm to try. And eventually they got the breaks, as it's called. They got a break. A break means that after trying so many times and failing and not really going anywhere, then all of a sudden everything happens very quickly. Thomas Edison, he invented the electric light as well as many other things. He was convinced that yes, there can be such a thing made as an electric light. So he tried and went through various different plans 10,000 times. He tried in 10,000 different ways to make an electric light, and eventually he made it. Krishna, sitting in the heart, said, give him a break. Okay, here it is, here it comes, alright. So in the same way, surely if we're very sincere and try to serve Krishna and try to become a pure devotee, then the friends, relatives, they may be against, the whole situation may be against, the whole inner consciousness may be against, but Krishna will help us. And when we develop such a strong desire, that means now we may have so much desire and so much wrong desire. But we have to develop a very strong desire to be Krishna conscious. And then Krishna will help us. He's helping us. Whatever modicum of desire we have, Krishna is helping us to develop that if we so want. And if we want to forget Krishna, He'll also help us to forget Him. And if we want to be a half and half devotee, then I'll be half a devotee and half a materialist. And Krishna will help us also. But we won't attain pure devotional service. We have to very intensely desire it. And again, desire doesn't mean just I'd like to be a pure devotee, just kind of thinking about it, but applying ourselves to the process by which we can achieve that. Just like these big businessmen who came up from nothing, they didn't just desire it, but they worked hard. They applied themselves to the process of making money, of taking goods, finding a market, and then maybe some new marketing scheme or making some plan, thinking all the time how to make money. That when you're in such a consciousness, how to make money, then everything you see, you'll think, how could I make money out of that? How could I make money? Everything they see, they think like that. That example is given. If different people go to a forest, they'll have different ways of viewing it according to their consciousness. A lusty man, when he goes to the forest, he'll think that, I wonder if there are any women wandering around here. And the devotee will think, well, this is a nice place to chant Hare Krishna. Why don't I chant Hare Krishna loudly? Then all the animals and the plants, they can also get benefited. And a man who's thinking about money, he'll think that, well, maybe I could acquire this stretch of forest at a cheap price, and then cut all the trees down, make money on the wood, and then with the cleared space, I could make a housing estate and make money. So different people in the same place and the same situation, according to their meditation, they view the same situation. And they get what they want sooner or later. Sooner or later the lusty man will, maybe not in that forest, but he'll come across some young lady who agrees to fulfill his lusty desires. And the businessman, maybe not in that state, you may think about it and investigate it and find out that, well, maybe it's not such a good idea after all, because this kind of wood, we could cut it down, but anyway the trees aren't full, they have to grow for another 50 years, or it's too far away from the market, or whatever. But he's thinking about it. And everywhere he goes, he sees, what about this? Maybe I could, you see this house is broken down, maybe I could buy it and destroy it and build a huge apartment block. Whatever he sees, saying how I can make money, And then he applies his intelligence. No, this isn't such a good scheme. This is not a bad scheme, I could make some money, but it's hardly worth it because with the time and energy I invest, I could be doing something else making more money. So all the time applying his intelligence, how to make money. And sooner or later, Krishna as the super soul will give him, yes, go for this, try this, this will work. And then he makes his money. Or maybe not, maybe that scheme he thought will be good will fail, and he'll lose all his money, but he'll try and come up again. He's not discouraged. So in Krishna consciousness, actually it's not so risky or undefined as in the business world. It's very clearly defined. Everything is there in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. You follow this process, this, and this, and you will get this, you will get Krishna Bhakti. So actually our task is, in one sense, it's easier than that of the materialist. Because the material world, it's a very risky place, you don't know what's going on, and whatever you try to do, bad things will happen, because that's the nature of this material world. Even if you amass a huge fortune, what's the use anyway? Because you have to die and leave it all behind. Unless you give it to Krishna, of course. You know. So, but in Krishna consciousness, everything is auspicious. It may not be easy to attain. In one sense it's not easy. In one sense it's easy, because if you simply follow the process, then Krishna will help you. But what is the process? The process, you see, rise early in the morning, go to Mangalati, go to Guru Puja and all these things, which I missed today due to involvement in some service which wasn't, it just came up. So sometimes you may miss. But the basic process is that follow all these things. You'll find in the Nectar of Devotion, follow all these things. But you'll find that apart from the rules and regulations, it also, in the Nectar of Devotion, it's also described, it's like one of the rules and regulations is, one should offer prayers to the Lord. But then it's also described what quality of prayer that should be there. Lala samai. It should be full. This lalas is very, very strong desire. How you should pray to the Lord. And Rupa Goswami gives some examples that how to pray. Oh my dear Lord, I have no qualification, I'm completely useless, I'm full of material desires, I'm born in a low family, I have no learning or knowledge, and I can't follow anything properly, I'm completely useless in all respects, but still in the depths of my heart I'm simply calling out to you that somehow you please help me to come up and attain your devotional service. So this quality of prayer, our acharyas have made prayers like this. Rupa Goswami has made this prayer. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has taught us how to pray. Gopinath Mama Nivedana Shuna Vishayi Durjana Shada Kamarata Kicha Nahi Morika. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's not in this situation. He's praying that Gopinath, you are the Lord of the Gopis, and I am the most wretched, lusty rascal, full of all material desires. I have no qualities, but still I am praying to you. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is not in that situation. He's a completely pure devotee. But he's praying like that. He may feel like that in his humility, but he's praying like that to teach us how we should, what is the feeling, what is the quality of feeling that we should pray with. If we actually pray with such feeling, then certainly Krishna will very, very soon bestow pure devotional service upon us. But we sing the song and we just sing it, that's all. We sing it like a machine, like a stone. Vishayi Durjana, that's a nice song. But such intensity of feeling, we have to develop that by singing such a song or reciting such verses of Rupa Goswami. Now we say Nayanangalada Shuddhaya, we just say da 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 da. But what is the feeling that is implicit in such a prayer? So that we have to cultivate that very strong desire to attain Krishna, even though knowing ourselves to be unqualified, but knowing that the only qualification is to throw ourselves without reservation at the lotus feet of Krishna and beg, please accept me. Hare Krishna. Any question about this?
Maharaj, you say that we have to have intense desire to achieve something. How much is desire influenced by previous karma for materialistic?
How much is desire influenced by previous karma? It's not really karma, but it's Bhakti and Mukhi Sukriti. We develop. It may be over various lifetimes. We find someone takes to Krishna consciousness and very soon they come up and they appear to be somewhat advanced. And others, they're just kind of like this and like that. So, not so intense in their Krishna consciousness. So, we take up Krishna consciousness where we left off, and therefore someone may be, from the beginning, appear to be more advanced than others. But then if we see someone's more advanced than me, then we shouldn't be discouraged, but we should think that anyway, whatever situation I'm in, let me go on. And another factor is that whatever situation we may be in, we can come up, and especially by associating with more advanced devotees, then that will help us. Whatever backward kind of situation we may be in, by associating with advanced devotees, then we can quickly become advanced in Krishna consciousness. Associating by hearing from, trying to follow in their footsteps, serving like this.
What about the materialistic person? Because he may desire to be millionaire and push up, but if karma is bad, he's not going to.
Yes, if one desires to be a millionaire and really tries, but then he may not achieve. But one thing is, even that to have such a strong desire, that if one has a very strong desire, that usually that's carried on from a previous life also. So the desire and the karma usually goes with it. So even to have such a strong desire, more strong than others, means that that's something carrying on. And even if he doesn't achieve in this life, he may achieve in the next life. Because if one maintains such a strong desire, Krishna will help. Of course, as I said, I spoke a lot about business success in this class, but we don't ascribe actually it has no real importance, intrinsic importance, but I was just giving it as an example, that's all. Otherwise, to be a millionaire or a billionaire, it has no intrinsic importance whatsoever. It's just a different material situation. But it is something that is unusual to achieve. So it serves as a good example how by strong desire one can achieve that which it appears is not within your reach. So pure devotional service may also appear beyond our reach, but it's not. If we have a strong enough desire, if we develop that desire, then Krishna will help. He helps materialists to become successful materialists, so-called. So he can help devotees to be successful. He certainly will help devotees to become successful in their quest to become pure devotees. Then,
sometimes some devotees, especially in congregation, they have some desire to help to this movement, to do some business or something. But is it really possible to be good businessman and devotee?
Is it possible to be a good businessman and a good devotee? Yes, why not?
Because it seems it's contradictory.
No, that can be dovetailed in Krishna's service. There are so many, in the Bhagavatam, there are so many kings who are good kings and good devotees also. So that can be. But generally, business life is a distraction. So if you're already a successful businessman, then engage that in Krishna's service. But sometimes we hear, just yesterday someone was telling me that I want to go to such and such a place and start a business, and then you see, then the preaching will go on nicely. But it doesn't work like that. He's just a young boy. He doesn't know what it means to start a business. How much time and energy absorption is there? If you're already addicted to that, then you may do, that becomes karma yoga. If you think, I should do this way for Krishna. We have to see in each individual case. One should take guidance from Guru how best to serve Krishna. And Krishna may give you advice how to serve according to your own material desires also. Understanding that the best thing for you would be to just leave everything and become Krishna conscious, but understanding that this person is not fit for that. Theoretically, it would be the best thing for him to do, but practically he's not ready to do that. So actually, practically, the best thing for him to do is to have some indulging of material propensities and at the same time serve Krishna. Just like we may tell everyone that why bother with this family life, just give it up, it's just Maya. But we see so many young men come to Krishna consciousness, and they're young men, and theoretically they could join the temple and be a brahmachari, but they don't, because they know that I have certain material desires which I have to see through. And so I just initiated 2 young men in Hyderabad. Actually, one just got married recently, and the other, theoretically he could join assembly and brahmachari, but he has no intention of doing so. And that's all right. That's your situation. He wants to marry, but he wants to be a devotee in family life. He's a serious devotee, but he just knows that this path is not for him. So he'll have to go through a lot of entanglement, and from the absolute platform it would have been better if he hadn't gone through with that, but then on the realistic platform he should do so, because he's not ready to renounce. So you can do business for Krishna. But that should be under guidance also. Yeah, then?
You're speaking about after some time trying so much, some term used, breakthrough. You succeed.
No, you get a break. That's a different term to breakthrough.
What do you use?
You get a break. It's colloquial English. It's probably in the dictionary. I'm sure it is. But it's kind of a little... Yeah, nowadays it's an accepted usage. Completely. You get a break. That means that things start to go right.
But many devotees in spiritual life, I want to say, that they got disappointed because they falsely expect that, okay, I will do preaching and I will apply full, and then just one day, like some miracle will happen and I will attain Krishna Prema, or something will completely change. But in reality, we see that it's going very slowly, and sometimes devotees are disappointed. So
devotees are disappointed. They think it's just, I'll go on my service, and then one day all of a sudden I'll wake up and I'll be overwhelmed with Gopi Bhava Rasamratadala Hari Kalola Magno Muhur. So what's the question? Is there a comment?
No, the question is, what happens in reality? Because
what happens in reality? Ado Shadha Tata Sadhu Sangrata Bhajana Kriya Tato Narta Nivritti Sat Tato Nishta Ruchis Tata Anasaktis Tato Bhava Tato Premabhyudanjati Sadhakana Layam Prema Pador Bhave Bhavat Kramaha. It's a Bhavat Kramaha means it's a gradual development. That's what happens.
Our desires are...
You know this verse? You understand?
yes,
Our desires are fulfilled based upon our previous deeds.